Okay, now, as you're going to talk about your Guru Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, I thought we'd start off by asking you, who is a guru? What does guru really mean to you, Rukmani? Aniket, can we change the format?
Yeah, can you? Aniket, before I start, Gurudev very beautifully actually explains to us who a guru is. And I thought before I start my own journey with Gurudev, I'll have him tell you in his own voice and in a video who a guru is traditionally, historically, who is a guru. And Gurudev explains that so beautifully. So, Aniket, if you have the video, can you put it on, please?
The English word guide comes from the Sanskrit word guru. Guru means the teacher, guide, like you have a football, there is a coach, like that, someone who gives you important knowledge, who brings you freedom, inner freedom, freedom from negative emotion.
So that was Gurudev in his own voice telling us who a guru is. A guru is someone who brings you inner freedom. And for me personally, Gurudev has been that. He's been my parent, my father, confidant. He's been my organizational boss. He's been my buddy, somebody I can share a joke with. He's all of that, not just for me, for my husband too, for both of us. He's like the beacon of light to which we look up to for everything that is important in our life. And both of us attribute everything we are today to what Gurudev has done for us. And Sajani, I've always been a seeker. I've been a thinker. I was a thinker. I was a journalist. I was a writer. I questioned everything. I was extremely intrigued by life. I was curious. So I think that the journey actually began a long time ago. And I think it's that need to know that there is more to life than what we see around us, which actually created an inner space that actually made it possible. They say that it is said that when a student is ready, a guru arrives. So I think the preparation for the guru also happens a long time, and sometimes it could also be over many lifetimes. Because when I met Guru, I knew I had known him my entire life. And I know that a lot of people from Art of Living, they meet Gurudev for the first time. He looks at them and he says, "So you've come," and they know that they've arrived. There's an interesting story. 5 of us friends had 5 different gurus. And we were sitting and having a conversation with each other. And there was a 6th friend who was just watching objectively from this side. And when we were talking about our guru, this friend who was watching from the side, she said, "I never would have imagined that you each have a different guru." Because the space that we came from, the space of a devotee who has a relationship with the guru, is a very, very precious space. And when 5 of us, each one of us had a different guru, but talking about our relationship with the guru, it was all one. We realized at the end of the day that the guru takes us all, leads us all to the same.
Now, Rukmani, can you tell us when you first met your guru, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar? Could you share that experience with us, please?
Absolutely. I had a good life, good parents, privileged background, did well in school and college. I began my life as a journalist. I met my husband, a good man. We got married. We were in India for some time. We had our children here. We went to Dubai. And then there was a turning point in my life. There was a personal tragedy when 2 to 3 very, very important people from my family died under very, very tragic circumstances. And I remember with that, it was like my life had crashed. And I didn't find the answers. I didn't find the answers. I mean, the why in my head was going on ceaselessly. It was like there was no answer for any of that. And then at that point in 1997, uh, like Beena said, my sister and I were driving down the road in Kanakpura Road, and we saw a little board that said The Art of Living. We went in, and I met this young boy who was sitting up there, and he said, this is what Art of Living is about. Why don't you come and do the course? I said, I've got little children. Who's going to take care of them? My sister said, look at his face. It's so peaceful. I'll take care of the kids. You do the course. Sajani, I did the course, and I thought to myself, this is what I've been looking for my entire life. And if the people in my family who had died this tragically had this wisdom, they would not have died the way they did. So actually, I thought this was something that I wanted to do my entire life. I met Gurudev also at the same time. I did an advanced course where we went into silence. And in the silence course, I was walking down, and suddenly from inside me, laughter came, joy, laughter, happiness felt like I'd never experienced before. And I looked at myself and said, oh my God, there's nobody making me laugh. None of the precious people in my life are around me. Where is this feeling coming from? And then the aha moment happened. I said, good God, it's happening coming from within me. Yeah. A little later, I met Gurudev. Now, I was a journalist, and I had interviewed heads of governments, leaders, corporations from all over the world. But nowhere had I met anyone as simple and as wise as Gurudev. It was very, very beautiful. And when I came back to Dubai, I got a call from the ashram saying that Gurudev wants you to start Art of Living courses in Dubai. And I thought this is something very good because just a little earlier, I had done an article on happiness. I interviewed a lot of people and said, are you happy? And they would say, we're content, we're satisfied, but nobody said they were happy. And when Gurudev said that I was to start this course in Dubai, I said, wow, this would be fantastic. If I could take the happiness course to Dubai, it would be completely wonderful. Now is the interesting part. Now, when I did the course, what did I see? I saw the wisdom, I saw the truth, I saw the simplicity, I saw the keys to living. I saw the simplest truths that, if converted into practical life, would make all our lives so easy. It was so interesting because at that point, a lot of my friends and a lot of the people who had come for the course did not see what I'd see, while some of them did and continued to help me to take the organization forward. They saw religion, they saw bias, they saw intention. And I was really in a state of shock because I thought, why is it so complicated? Even now, when people say, Art of Living, is it religious? I say, no. When you close your eyes, it's just you and your truth. Where is the religion? So there was a lot of turbulence that happened at that point. And I remember being very confused about it. And my teacher then told me, see, listen, why don't you come and meet Gurudev and you ask him? Address the issue to him. So I said, no, where do I come to meet Gurudev again? So he said, why don't you come to Rishikesh and come when all the international people are coming, because you'd relate more to the internationals. So there I was. I arrived in Rishikesh, hard-headed journalist, arrived in Rishikesh, and I got into a bus that had been organized for the Art of Living people. When I entered the bus, I looked around and there were a bunch of foreigners wearing malas and red tikkas and singing bhajans. And I said, good God, where have I landed? It was so strange. This was so far away from who I was, By the way, many of them are amazing people. They're dear friends of mine. But when I looked at them at that point, I said, good God, where have I arrived? So with this big bus of foreigners singing bhajans and wearing tikkas and malas, I went to the ashram there. And there we did courses. And now that is a significant trip because three very important things happened. One, I met this gentleman who'd been with Gurudev right from the beginning. In fact, he was with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi when Gurudev was also there. His name was Dr. Eberhardt. He was a doctor of medicine, and he said, Rukmini, before I taught the science of healing, now I'm teaching the art of healing. He had also become an art of living teacher. And I remember asking him, he said, Rukmini, ask me, whatever doubts you have, why don't you ask me? So, my biggest doubt was about spiritual organizations. I'd heard so much about spiritual organizations, the politics, the money problems, the controversies, the scandals. And I thought to myself, I don't want to have anything to do with a spiritual organization. It's so nice just being on the outside and going for a course and coming back and listening to Gurudev's talks. And so I said, since he gave me the open invitation, let me ask him. And he said, Rukmini, you don't have to worry in this organization because here the master is pure. And whatever happens, justice will prevail. Satyam Param Dhimahi. And in all these years, Sajani, that has been my experience. It's an organization, it's an inclusive organization of millions of people. But because the master is pure, there is always justice at the end, which is extraordinary. Having a living master is another experience altogether. The second thing
Rukmani, may I ask you one question? You spoke about spiritual and religious. So do you think you could give us what you feel is the difference between spirituality and religion?
Sajani, I'll tell you what Gurudev says. He says, if you take the analogy of a banana, spirituality is the banana and religion is the skin. Yeah? Yeah, he says, religion is the symbols, spirituality is the values. So the values across all religions is the same. But the symbols are what differentiates a religion from each other, isn't it?
Very well said, Rukmani. Now, I also want to ask you, you've been totally involved with the master, with your Guruji, ever since you were in Dubai and also after you've come to India. So I'd like you to share your experience about this.
Okay.
All that you've been doing.
For 22 years, I've been with Gurudev for 22 years. And I think it's the best job in the world because you've got an enlightened master as your boss. Okay. And the organization is really a living canvas for us to constantly experiment with truth, face challenges, come into realizations, and we've constantly got Gurudev guiding us. Another conversation that I'd had with Gurudev was when there was a lot of turbulence in the beginning when we started Art of Living. I asked Gurudev, why is it that after coming into Art of Living, there's so much turbulence? I've only seen these pictures of meditating saints in Ramakrishna ashram. I'd never been to an ashram before that. I was even to temples, barely went to temples. I said, I always thought there was only peace in ashrams. And I remember at that point, Gurudev told me that never be frightened of turbulence. So long as the water is flowing, it will continue to flow. But when there is turbulence, the dams will burst and flood the valleys. So what he meant is that when there is turbulence, the turbulence of the situation will confuse all the paradigms, and what eventually emerges out of that will be another higher truth altogether. So ever since then, there's been no fear of turbulence. So in a spiritual organization, it's completely inclusive. Gurudev doesn't leave anybody out. Whoever comes to him, he takes responsibility for. And those are millions of people around the world. Gurudev cannot turn anybody away. That is the quality of a guru. So he will accept every person and he will expect all of us to accept everybody. So you're constantly dealing with different kinds of dynamics, working with people that you never would have chosen to work with. And then there is no question of quitting. Gurudev will insist that we stay Learn to accept a person, go within yourself, meditate deeper, come back, and then approach the same situation, the same people from a different perspective and move forward. Gurudev would only give us instructions from a 30,000 foot level. He would never say, do this, 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 this. He would broadly tell me, you know, Rukmini, now from tomorrow you're going to take care of this responsibility. Like when I came back from India, when I came back from Dubai, I hadn't been in India for 20 years. I'd been out of the country for 20 years. And 20 years is a long time. A lot of things change in the country for a long time in that period. He told me, Gurudev, you take over social projects for India. This is the whole of India, and all our developmental work comes under that. I didn't speak many of the Indian languages. I didn't know the dynamics of development. And I said, good God, what am I going to do? At that point, a friend of mine told me in the organization, she said, Rukmini, all Gurudev wants you to do is just be there. And the work will begin to happen. It's so amazing, Sajani, because truly, once you just have a yes mind, miracles begin to happen. Gurudev is very, very, very chalu. Okay? He would mix up people and roles. He wouldn't put the lawyer in the legal department. He will put the lawyer in charge of communication media. Yeah? He will put the media man in charge of the kitchens. He would take the chemical engineer and put him in charge of civil works. Okay? So now what Gurudev says is that if you know what you're doing, you will never learn because you already know. Na? So your mind has already reached its full potential of what it has to do. But he says if you don't know, then your mind is completely open. And then what you learn, what you experience, and what you're able to implement is much more than what you would have done otherwise. He says, when you don't know, you allow grace to happen. That's when miracles happen. He is very subtle in his management of ego. What Gurudev says is that ego cannot be controlled. Ego cannot be destroyed. He says ego has to be expanded. So he says if you have an ego, make it so big, make your ego so big that everybody comes within you. It's very, very beautiful. Working with Gurudev has been something else altogether.
Right. So, Rukmani, I'd like you, in the beginning, you said that the Guru plays many roles. Remember? He can be a father, everything. So, I'd like to know, Guruji, Shri Shri Ravi Shankar, can you explain his role as a parent to you? He plays many roles, as you said. So, could you kindly explain this?
It's so sweet. In our organization, Gurudev puts people above the organization in the sense that he's willing to even compromise organizational agenda. Now, no managing director or CEO will do what he does. He's willing to put an individual above the organizational agenda if the individual has to be supported, nurtured, protected, or just held close, and I've seen him do this so many times for so many people. It's completely beautiful. I remember the time when I was, this is a couple of years ago, and I was personally going through a difficult time. My mother-in-law was extremely unwell. She eventually passed away. There were a couple of other personal issues, health issues, and I still have the role. I'm head of sustainable development, which is a strategic role where I manage our international partnerships and all the advocacy that I do. Then I remember going to Gurudev and saying, Gurudev, don't give this role to somebody else. For some time, I'm not going to be useful to you. Why don't you give this role to somebody else? And Gurudev would tell me, no, Rukmini, you just hold on to it. You don't have to work. You don't have to do anything. You take care of your responsibilities. And whenever you're ready to come back, you can come back to it. So which meant that in the period that I was away, nobody did the job I was doing. And I would go to Gurudev and say, Gurudev, this person would be better than me, that person would be better than me. And he would say, it doesn't matter. Take your time and come back whenever you want to. This is another beautiful story. This was very early in the organization when I was just about a year and a half into the organization, and I had come for a silence course in the ashram. And everything was still new to me. And I had come a long distance. And in silence, when you feel a little alone. Now I don't. In silence, I'm so rich. But in those days, I was feeling a little alone. And in the evening, after the day's meditations, I'd come down for dinner around 6 o'clock. That's when we have dinner. When I came down for dinner, I realized that a lot of people had come and the food was over and they needed to cook again. So they said, why don't you go for satsang and come back and then we'll give you dinner. I went for satsang. I was very hungry at that point. And I remember sitting at the back of satsang, everyone is singing and feeling lonely and missing my family and feeling hungry. Then suddenly I felt a tap on my back. And it was one of our senior Swamijis. He was standing there with a little glass. And in the glass was one puranpoli and one vada. Okay? So at that point, Gurudev was beginning his dinner. When suddenly he stopped and he turned around and told the Swamiji, go and give this to Rukmini, she's hungry. So Swamiji said, can't be possible, this is dinner time. He says, no, I know she's hungry. Go and give it to her immediately. And I got this Puran Poli and this vada. It's not just me. I remember once we were sitting with Gurudev and suddenly he stopped and he said, look at that plant in the corner. And people turned to look at it. He said, somebody go there, just lift the leaves. When they lifted the leaves, the earth underneath was parched. He could hear the cry of a parched plant.
Lovely.
In another story, we were all sitting together when suddenly he stopped and he went outside. And in the bushes, he said there's a poisoned snake there, a snake that was suffering from food poisoning. Yeah? And he got the snake. He could hear the cry of the snake. He took it to her ashram shelter, animal shelter, and he would call 10 times a day to make sure the snake was fine and put back. He remembers every tree in the ashram. Now, we have a huge ashram. We have 700 acres plus maybe another 500 acres. And our construction team has to keep constructing because the organization is growing bigger than we can handle. And they are so frightened to cut a tree because as soon as they cut a tree, if they pass us, he will say, where did this tree go? Where did this tree go? And they pull their hair because they say, how do you build these homes and these rooms for people if you don't cut trees? But Gurudev will be so upset if a tree is cut. That's the extent of compassion of the master.
That's very beautiful, Rukmani. Right. It's so lovely listening to all these stories.
Can I tell you one more story?
Yes.
This is, when you have a guru like ours, you become a child again. Yeah? He gives you at our age, can you imagine? He gives us the liberty of being a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old. So it was my birthday a couple of years ago. And Gurudev's not usually here for all our birthdays. He's traveling all over the world, but he happened to be there. So I said, let's go and meet Gurudev. And, like a child, I was thinking, now, what is it that Gurudev is going to give me? Yeah. Like a child can ask the parent, na, what do you think I'm going to get from my parent? So I was marching up to see Gurudev. And he's in a place called Ganga Kutir in the ashram. I went in there and Gurudev said, Rukmani's birthday, come, sit down. And then, of course, cut a cake and he gave me a big garland. And he said, now we have to give you a gift. Now, he walked up and down and then he went into a cupboard. He pulled out something. He came and gave it to me and put it in my hand. And he said, this is your favorite color. It was a sari. It was my favorite color. And I remember after that calling different members of my family and saying, what is my favorite color? And I wear all kinds of colors. And none of them really knew what was my favorite color. But Gurudev knew my favorite color. He gave me the sari and said, your favorite color. And right through the, I kept thinking, my God, Gurudev even knows my favorite color.
That's wonderful. Now I hear that Gurudev is actually having, morning and evening satsangs because of the COVID. Could you tell us a little about that? He's trying to help all the people all over the globe because they can't see him, but he is reaching out through meditations and satsangs twice a day.
Sajani, right now,
Yes,
there is more mental illness happening than ever before.
exactly.
People are locked down. People are not, they're facing pay cuts. They're losing their jobs. When you're locked down with a family that you love, it's so nice. But suppose you're locked down with people that you don't like. It's not a good situation to be in. Children, parents, husbands and wives, old people. In a lot of homes, there's more turbulence happening now than ever before. So, Gurudev, and people are calling Gurudev all the time. And in his kutir, he's got about 15 screens in front of him with people beamed in from all over the world. He's constantly talking to people, solving their problems, addressing their issues, and conducting meditations twice a day. Yeah, once at 12 o'clock, once at 7:30 in the evening. And I know that for all of us, if all of us are still happy, still proactive, creative, all of us are reinventing ourselves in this environment. It is only because twice a day, come what may, our meditations happen, our morning sadhanas happen anyway. But Gurudev is there all the time. But apart from that, if any of us have a problem, we can send him a message. He will respond or call us. So he's available all the time. And he says he's working harder now than ever before.
Now, as we talk about meditation, and you are an AOL, teacher, could you tell us a little bit about meditation and someone who is not into meditation, can they also benefit from it, Rugmani?
Sajani, meditation is not a luxury anymore. It's not a choice anymore. See, building emotional and psychological resilience is, I think, the most paramount requirement of today. Things are changing faster than we imagine. We honestly, nobody knows where we are headed. Are things going to get better? Are things going to get worse? Never has it been so unpredictable for us in our lifetime as it is right now. Building psychological and emotional resilience is really important. And if there was another way, I'm very happy to hear about it. But as far as I know, nothing can help build emotional resilience and psychological resilience the way meditation can. When you can take all your thoughts, what is meditation? It is the ability to stay detached from challenges and to be able to take all our thoughts and consolidate it, all scattered consciousness, and consolidate it and make us stable where we are.
So, could you tell us a little more about the journey you've had? You said some time ago, I think it was a choiceless path, you had told me, right? So what did you mean by that, really?
The path with the Guru, having a personal...
Yes, your journey with the Guru, you said was a choiceless path.
With a living master, it's a choiceless path.
Right. What did you mean by that?
It's a very romantic path, Sajani. Yeah, because like I said, it's a wonderful journey from the head to the heart.
Okay.
And for all of us, we live in such a left-brained world where we're constantly thinking, analyzing, evaluating, judging, and there is so many gadgets that put us on information overload that it's taken away the balance in our life. So when Gurudev came into our life, what he really took us as he made us understand that life is much more than just what we see with our from the intellect. Then he made our life experiential. What Gurudev has taught us is something that can never be read, can never be studied or read about. It is something that he holds our hand and walks with us through probably the most turbulent journey that you could possibly have in your life. A spiritual path is not an easy path. It's a path walked by Jesus, by Buddha, and all the saints that have come before us. And we have to look at ourselves, come in touch with ourselves like we never ever would have ever anticipated we would. It's not an easy path. Yet, when there is a living master to hold your hand every second, to guide you, to catch you when you fall, and be there every way till you're back on your feet and you're walking again and moving to the next level. And like Prabhakar and I think if we were not doing this, what would we be doing? No. For us, I mean, we wouldn't choose another life. It's not easy. A spiritual journey is not easy, but we wouldn't choose it any other way.
Now, they say that Shraddha or faith is really important in your guru. So I'd like you to talk about this, Shraddha and faith. And have you at any time, lost faith during the journey or not? Have there been experiences such as that?
Yeah. So what is faith? Faith for me is, all of us have faith. Even for people who claim to be atheistic or agnostic, you have faith. You have faith that sun rises every morning. You have faith that when you put the switch on, the light will come. You have faith that when you get to your car, the car will start. If you didn't have faith, life would be very, very traumatic. So all of us already have a lot of faith. But what does faith really do to us? It takes all our energy, all our scattered energy, and it consolidates us and makes us very strong within. So who's a guru? A guru is just somebody who makes you recognize your own faith. Your guru does not want your faith. God does not want your faith. What is Gurudev going to do with your faith? But he realizes that by you having faith, you become powerful, you become strong, you become resilient, you become Niranjan, you become untouchable. Have I lost faith? Absolutely. So many times when I'm overworked or stressed or overwhelmed, this energy that I have within me, I lose. Yeah, my mind scatters. And at that point, Sajani, I will do whatever it takes to bring my faith back, because I know that faith is not for anybody else. Faith is for me faith is my foundation. It is my rock of Gibraltar to be able to move forward. So I will do whatever it takes. I do my meditations. I go into deeper meditations. I go into silence. I call my seniors. I speak to Gurudev. I will do whatever it takes to bring faith back. Yeah. So have I lost faith? Yes. But I will do whatever it takes to bring my faith back.
Wonderful. When you spoke about meditation, now, you go into meditation to get back. What I'd like to ask you, because today in these COVID-19 days, meditation seems to be the buzz, the buzzword really. So I'd like you to tell us as an AOL teacher, something about meditation and what it does, and can everyone benefit by meditation?
Okay, Sajani, before that, I just have a question here. See, our
Yes.
audience here is already on a spiritual path. So I'm thinking that most of the audience are already meditators. Am I right?
Yes, most of them in some way. But as you just spoke about meditation, I thought, if you could say a little about it, Rukmini, and tell us how it can really benefit us during these turbulent times.
Okay, what is meditation? It is not concentration. It is not focus. In fact, meditation is exactly the opposite of that. It is deconcentration. It is defocus. The nature of the body is effort. Like we needed effort to come here, right? We all needed to plan, schedule our days. We need effort to come to this conversation. We need effort to get up, have a bath, make our food, eat our food, go for a walk. The nature of body is effort. The nature of mind is effortlessness. It's exactly the opposite. The nature of mind is effortlessness. If you try to sleep, can you sleep? If you try to forget, can you forget? Yeah. If lying there trying to sleep and suddenly you just fall asleep, you had nothing to do with it. The moment you drop the effort, you drop your. If you're trying to forget something, you don't forget, but suddenly you're preoccupied with something else, and you've forgotten this. The nature of mind is effortlessness. So, what is meditation? Is the art of effortlessness. It's the job of letting go. So, from my understanding and my experience, meditation is just letting go. It is not thoughtlessness. There can be thoughts in meditation. Yeah, but when the thoughts come, let it come, let it go. There can be feelings in meditation. Feelings can come, feelings can go. There can be emotions. Emotions can come, emotions can go. But what is meditation? It's just the art of effortlessness. Letting go.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. I have another question. People normally say that spirituality and success can't coexist. You can either have one or the other, or you get into spirituality right at the end of your life. What does Guruji and what do you have to say about that?
Gurudev says that your material life and your spiritual life are like two wheels each of a car. Yeah, you can't drive a car without the material aspects of life and the spiritual aspects of life. So whoever said that, Sajani, I'm just wondering where this question came from. What do you mean by spirituality? If this is the question, what do they mean by spirituality?
Spiritual, because I hear a lot of people, and especially young people, though Art of Living Guruji has a lot of young people say we'll get there later. They want to climb up the ladder of success, reach heights, and then get there. So that's why I'm asking you, can't both these coexist?
They do coexist.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Spirituality and a material life, they do coexist. It's just that people have a certain perception of the word spirituality,
Exactly.
which is not the reality of spirituality at all. Spirituality is everything. Consciousness is everything. Consciousness within you, within me, just a recognition of the consciousness is spirituality, isn't it?
Right. So, anyway, thanks for that. And I'd like you to share some more stories that you did, about Guruji and while you were on the path. Some of the stories that stand out in your mind
Okay.
as a disciple.
What's beautiful is that all the amazing work being done by Art of Living all over the world is done by ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And as an Art of Living teacher, who are we? Unlike the old days where teachers of wisdom were renowned saints who gave up their life, Gurudev realized that if I had to depend on just a few saints of the world, I wouldn't be able to reach the number of people who need help today. So he got ordinary people like us, people who have homes, families, children, and then he gave us the gift of teaching the Art of Living course. And Sajani, it's very, very beautiful because it's when we sit to teach. I know that I remember when I first became an Art of Living teacher, I would finish my entire day's work, and then I would set the clock forward by half an hour. Yeah, and tell my little children, see, it's already 7:30. You have to be in bed. It will only be 7 o'clock. Quickly tuck them in bed and go running to teach my Art of Living class. And then when I would sit in the Vedpeeth to teach the class, and what were we teaching? We were teaching Brahmagyan, we were teaching the highest knowledge. I realized that it wouldn't be me teaching, because the words that would come out of me then would not be my words. The wisdom that and responses that would come out of me, even when I would say it, I would think to myself, where did I get this from? Where did this come from? And then I realized that it's not us. When Gurudev made us teachers, all he wanted us to do was just go and sit there, because a higher truth will anyway operate through you. And the number of people that we have touched is so beautiful. This is a story about this Russian man who came to one of the courses I was teaching in Dubai. Later, he told me he was on his way to the shooting range, the Jabal Ali shooting range in Dubai, not to shoot, but to shoot himself. His life had become so difficult here. And he was sitting on the beach and planning how he would be going there and he'd shoot himself, when he met this girl on a rollerblade. She was also Russian, so I got contact with each other, and they started chatting. And she asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm not doing well in life. I'm depressed. I'm upset." She said, "Let's go to an art of living class." And she had signed up. She brought him into the class. On the first day, he was on the last row of the class. On the second day, he was in the second last row of the class. By the last day of the course, he was on the first row of the class. He transformed completely. He got his life back. He got his job back. He became an art of living teacher. He would assist me in all my courses. He's one of the most incredible people I know. And this story of this boy is just one of hundreds and thousands of people that I've come in contact with. It's incredible.
That's wonderful. I think you should share with our audience also how we can live a more positive, happy, and fulfilled life.
Meditate. Start by meditation.
Right.
Meditation class. I teach meditation. Please come to my class. But there are so many meditation courses happening. But this foundation is to be able to sit there, learn to close your mind, close your eyes, and all the thoughts that are all over, to take it and go deep within and find the happiness within. Once you found the happiness within, everything outside becomes a big fat bonus. But first, we have to find the happiness within. So, step 1, meditate. Step 2, meditate. Step 3, meditate. Step 15, meditate. No compromise on that.
That's wonderful. And I hope sometime you can take us all through a meditation. We don't have the time now, but maybe sometime you will be able to take us, Rukmini.
I would
Yes.
love to.
Right. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about Guruji?
Okay, Gurudev can be very chalu, I said. Okay?
Yes.
If you challenge him, he will challenge you right back. So I remember early in my days, from Dubai, once or twice a year, I would take all my students to come and meet Gurudev, either in the Bangalore ashram or in the German ashram, to come and do a silence course and have them meet Gurudev. And those days I was far more in the head than I am now. I'm much more realistic and much more down to earth right now. I still was up there in the head right now. And it's very sweet, because after every course, people would run to take photographs with Gurudev. And I would say, now, why do I need a photograph with Gurudev? Gurudev is in my heart. Why do I need a picture of him? And sure enough, I would organize everybody, make sure that they all stood with Gurudev, and I would come and stand back with the photographer and say, have you taken a proper picture? Have you got him from this angle? Have you got them from that angle? Until one day, one of my students said, listen, get off your high horse. You also come and stand and get a photograph with Gurudev. So I went and stood to get a photograph with Gurudev, in a group photograph. Later, when the print came out, this was in the days when it was not digital, it was still a print, I was not in the picture. Everybody else was in the picture. I wasn't in the picture. So I said, hello. So a little later, a photograph was being taken, And this time I voluntarily went and stood in the picture. And when the picture came out, I wasn't in the picture. Sajani, this happened a couple of times. Each time a picture would be taken, by which time I was nudging people out to go and stand in the picture because I said, this is absolutely ridiculous. And a picture would come and I would not be in the picture. And then finally, I said, okay, I'm giving up. My picture's not going to happen with Gurudev. And a friend of mine, he said, Rukmini, come. I said, no use. My picture's not going to come. And he told Gurudev, he said, Gurudev, Rukmini says she doesn't come in pictures with you. And then Gurudev said, come. And I'm going to show you the picture. So this is a picture. Can you see it?
Yeah, just move it up.
So this is my first picture with Gurudev. I hugged him so tight in gratitude.
Wonderful. What was the reason that it wasn't coming earlier, Rukmani?
Because in my mind, I'd said it won't happen, so it didn't happen. You know, it's very interesting. I'm glad you brought up this point. Gurudev says we underestimate the power of our mind. We create our realities. We create our realities. He says, in the context of work too, when people come and complain to him, he says, you know, it is not by effort that work happens. It is by sankalp shakti. It is the power of your intention. So he says, to have the right intention is what creates your reality. Everything came out of a thought, isn't it? So my thought that I will not be in a picture with Gurudev actually manifested over and over and over again till I surrendered and went, and Gurudev said, come, let's make a picture happen. So, you know, when you with a living master, it's very, very subtle, which is the power of a living master, because he's constantly just in actions, the words he says. Gurudev doesn't say many words, but if he tells you something, if he gives you an instruction, you should go back and think about it for a long time, because beyond those instructions will be so much that you have to learn. He'll tell you one thing, and then if you implement it, you will shift, you will grow exponentially. If you don't take it seriously, you can be just there.
That's really a lovely story. And now, you know, I'd like to ask the audience also if they'd like to ask you some questions. Is that okay with you, Rukmani?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll open this up for questions. And if there's anyone, kindly, you know, put it in the chat box or put up your hand and Aniket will unmute you. Any questions? Let's see if there's anything in the chat box. Rukmani, will you check in the chat box? Much of noise.
You're getting late.
Too much of sound. Okay.
Everyone's been unmuted.
I don't see these questions, Sajani.
There's just one saying religion versus spirituality. Ultimate choice is meditation. Thank you, Rukmani. All right. Are there any other people who would like to ask any questions out here?
Saju,
Yes?
I would like to ask a question.
Please ask a question. Unmute yourself, Kashmira, and ask the question.
Yeah, I've unmuted. She talked about Guruji giving...
Ask her directly. Ask Rukmani directly.
Can you please tell me the times and how I could get onto the meditation that you were talking about twice a day, please?
Yes, I will. Absolutely. In fact, there is a 21-day meditation challenge. Let me see if I can find it. I'll post it right here.
It's at 12 and I think 7 every day. It comes on the TV. It comes on the Art of Living, you know, if you just go onto your YouTube, you'll find it. And it's been going on for a long time. Okay. We'll send it to you. Any other questions?
I think
Is
it's a
anyone?
question. So,
Is there
Sajani,
anyone who,
whether the guru is living or not, once you have taken Diksha, then the guru is your guardian, guide, and friend at the time. Yes, absolutely. The guru, see, a guru is not just a physical form, he is also a tattva. He is actually a tattva. The physical form is available to some of us, but the physical form may not be available to everybody at all times in history. The guru is a tattva. So whether there is a consciousness, whether it is a Christ consciousness or a Krishna consciousness, it is a consciousness, it is a tattva. So if you have taken a diksha, definitely the guru is your guide, partner, and friend. But having a living guru gives you the same ras. It gives you a tremendous ras that comes from having a one-on-one relationship with a very, very evolved being. So I think that is something that we have benefited immensely from. Having a living guru, being able to have conversations with him like a friend, to call him when you're worried. You know, it has another dimension. So it is not one or the other. It can be both.
anybody else would like to ask a question? If not, we can get into a short meditation. Will you take us through a very short meditation, Rukmani?
Absolutely.
A few minutes?
How many
I
times?
think that
How much?
about 5 minutes.
5
Because
minutes?
we have, yeah, not one of the long ones. Will you be able to do that? As we don't have question, we can go into silence and you can take us through a short meditation. Is that okay by you, Rupani?
5 minutes is just time to open and close your eyes. Is it only 5 minutes?
Okay, extend it to 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right, but not too long because we don't have time.
Right.
Okay, so we
Let
will
us sit.
our meditation now.
Let us sit comfortably and easily with our eyes closed. And take a deep breath in and let go. Another deep breath in and let go. Become aware of your breath. The incoming breath energizes the body, and the outgoing breath relaxes the body. As you breathe in, you energize the body, and as you breathe out, you relax the body. Become aware of your smile. It takes only 36 muscles to smile, while it takes 72 muscles to frown. So become aware of the smile. Smiling. The whole head is smiling now. Face, but your nose and your eyes and your cheeks are smiling now. The smile is expanding till the vibrations of the smile cover the whole head. The smile is now coming to the neck, shoulders, your hands and your arms, your back, your back. Your chest is smiling. Your stomach is smiling. Your hips are smiling. Your thighs and your knees are smiling. Your ankles are smiling. Your whole body is smiling. Take a deep breath in and let go. Now spread the smile to the chair that you're sitting on. Don't lose the smile on your face. Your face is still smiling. Your body is still smiling. But now the chair is still started to smile. Spread the smile to one foot around you. Spread the smile to 2 feet around you. Spread the smile to 5 feet around you. The different furniture in your room has begun to smile. The floor, the ceiling, the walls have begun to smile. The light, the fan, paintings on the wall. They've all begun to smile. Take your smile into different rooms in the house, one by one by one. Don't lose the smile on your face, but take the same smile into different rooms in the house. If there are people there, take your smile to the people in the house. The whole house is smiling. Simultaneously, become aware of the smile on your face and the smile that has permeated the whole house. Simultaneously, become aware of both of them. Take a deep breath in and let go. Another deep breath in and let go. Leaving your beautiful on your face, in the body, and in your entire house. Slowly become aware of your body and surrounding. And whenever you're ready, taking your own time, you may slowly open your eyes.
Thank you so much for that lovely, happy, smiling meditation. You got us all smiling, and that's wonderful. Now we've come nearly to the end of our satsang. Thank you so much for being with us, for giving us so much of time.